Even though some of these guys will succeed with their new teams, some of these guys won't.
Why in the absolute question mark of decisions would you go get Tua Tagovailoa?
It's always exciting and interesting to see familiar names sign with or be traded to a different team. So today, we're going to take a look at the 5 NFL players who will fail with their new teams and 5 who will succeed. Fail, Gino Smith. When Gino Smith was traded back to the Jets, it was a head-scratching move by Gangrene as they try to rebound from their disastrous 2025 season. Smith led the league in interceptions in 2025, throwing 17 during his brief stint with the Las Vegas Raiders. Not to mention, Smith has a bad history with fumbles, as he fumbled the ball 9 times in 2024 with the Seahawks. National outlets have ranked Smith 30th out of 35 starting quarterbacks ahead of the 2026 season due to his awful 2025 season with the Raiders. Sure, Smith is a serviceable veteran, but if he struggles during the season, well, the Jets don't have any reliable backups to step in, as Bailey Zappi, Brady Cook, and Cade Klubnik don't really scream Pro Bowl caliber or franchise savior. To succeed, Kyler Murray. After an injury-riddled 2025 season that ended his Cardinals' tenure, Kyler Murray signed a minimum one-year, $1.3 million deal with the Minnesota Vikings, looking for a fresh start under head coach Kevin O'Connell. Murray has a strong chance of resurrecting his career with the Vikings, as he'll have the best core of offensive weapons to work with, from Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Jawan Jennings, Aaron Jones, and TJ Hawkinson, just to name a few. Not to mention, the Vikings' offensive line was rebuilt and retooled for the long haul of the upcoming regular season, which should give Murray the protection to succeed that he needs if he wins the starting job. O'Connell's system has the necessary structure that's designed to maximize the efficiency of the quarterback. And he's kind of considered a quarterback whisperer who got the best out of Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold. And Murray is likely to be next on the list. Murray's also playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, as he likes to put up significant and efficient upper-tier numbers in order to secure a massive long-term deal in the future, whether that be with the Vikings or with another franchise. Fail, Tua Tagovailoa. Similar to Kyler Murray signing with the Vikings, Tagovailoa signed a minimum deal with the Atlanta Falcons as he looks to rebuild his NFL career. Unlike Murray, Tagovailoa's injury history is a lot more serious than his, as he missed time in camp due to flare-ups of lower back stiffness, disrupting on-field chemistry with his new teammates. Tagovailoa has missed 9 games in the past 2 seasons due to major concussions, hip injuries, and soft tissue ailments. Not to mention, Tagovailoa has a persistent lack of elite mobility and elite arm strength, leaving him dependent on physical blocking. Because Tagovailoa is on a cheap 1-year deal, the Falcons have zero financial attachment to him, meaning if he struggles, they can cut their losses and move on to a different quarterback in 2027. Head coach Kevin Stefanski is going to implement a new, unfamiliar system that he'll have to adjust to as the season progresses. On top of that, Tagovailoa is in a quarterback competition with Michael Penix Jr., who also has his fair share of injuries and is looking to rebound after a tough 2025 season. So we're just gonna have to wait and see if Tagovailoa earns a starting job for the Falcons or not. Succeed, Patrick Ricard. 6-time Pro Bowl fullback Patrick Ricard is poised to succeed with the Giants as he reunites with head coach John Harbaugh and flourishes in the smash-mouth punishing blocking that he and offensive coordinator Matt Nagy will implement for the 2026 season. Ricard signed a 2-year, $7.63 million deal with the G-Men, making him the highest-paid fullback in the league, and he'll serve as a tactical weapon who will help unlock the Giants' heavy personnel offenses in the regular season. Fail, Malik Willis. Although Willis played fairly well for the Green Bay Packers whenever Jordan Love was out with injuries, he enters unknown waters with the Miami Dolphins, as he has the potential to flop with them during the 2026 regular season. For starters, the Dolphins gutted their roster, leaving almost no offensive weapons for Willis to work with outside of Devon Achane. Willis will have to throw passes to unproven talent featuring Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell, and Day 3 rookies like Caleb Douglas, Chris Bell, and Kevin Coleman Jr., as none of these guys are Pro Bowl caliber, let alone a legitimate WR2 on a more competitive NFL roster. The Dolphins' offensive line is incredibly weak, with Jonah Sava-Inaya allowing more pressures than any other guard in the league as a rookie, and Austin Jackson suffering an undisclosed injury during training camp. On top of all that, Willis has had very limited starts in the league, as he started in 6 games and went 3-3 during his tenure with the Tennessee Titans and Packers respectively. Willis might be in for a rude awakening, as the Dolphins are likely built to tank so they can potentially land a very high draft pick in the 2027 NFL Draft. Succeed, Trey Hendrickson. After dealing with the awfulness of the Cincinnati Bengals front office, Hendrickson starts anew with the Baltimore Ravens and will likely succeed with them during the regular season. Hendrickson steps into a dominant Ravens defense with guys like Roquan Smith, Trenton Simpson, Calais Campbell, and Nnamdi Madubuike, as he'll no longer have to carry the pass rush on his own and can rely on his new teammates to help out. Hendrickson fits very well in head coach Jesse Minter's aggressive schemes, as they maximize edge rushers to their greatest. The Ravens' pass rush rotation is heavily loaded with young talent like Odafe, Travis Robinson, and rookie Zion Young, who will all help keep Hendrickson fresh to act as a fourth-quarter closer. It also helps that Hendrickson enters the 2026 season 100% healthy and ready to roll, as he's ready to prove the doubters wrong after missing most of 2025 with pelvis, hip, and back injuries. On top of that, staying in the AFC North allows Hendrickson to capitalize on his familiarity with competitive divisional rivals like the Bengals, Cleveland Browns, and Pittsburgh Steelers, as he spent years practicing and understanding the tendencies of the Bengals offense, which gives the Ravens an advantage in how to disrupt it in the regular season. Fail Jaylen Phillips. The Panthers signed Phillips to a massive 4-year, $120 million deal, which honestly is a huge gamble for someone who's had injury problems throughout their entire career. Phillips ruptured his Achilles in Week 12 of the 2023 season. He dealt with an ACL injury in Week 4 of the 2024 season, and he dealt with minor ailments through the latter half of 2025. These injuries pose a huge risk to Phillips' production that can reduce the explosive first-step quickness that's required of an elite edge rusher. To make matters worse for Phillips, linebacker Nick Scorton injured his ACL during training camp, which adds more work for Phillips to cover when regular season action begins, especially when dealing with opposing offenses that'll likely double-team Phillips, making it harder for him to sack opposing quarterbacks. Succeed A.J. Brown. Brown is poised to succeed with the Patriots due to his perfect schematic fit with Drake May, as well his reunion with head coach Mike Vrabel, and becoming a #1 weapon in the Patriots offense. May led the league in downfield completion rates 61.2% and passer ratings 126.1 on throws over 10 air yards in 2025. With Brown in the fold, those numbers are gonna increase. Reuniting with Vrabel is also a plus for Brown, as he returns to a coaching system that he's quite familiar with, lowering his learning curve. Not to mention, it'll alleviate the offensive friction that plagued him during his final season with the Philadelphia Eagles. Brown is also one of the most physical wideouts, who can go man-to-man against opposing defenses and give the Patriots a perimeter receiver, which will force opposing defensive coordinators to keep a safety over the top, which will then generate lighter defensive boxes for the running game to exploit.
Fail Titus Howard. Howard was traded to the Browns and signed a massive 3-year, $63 million extension with them during the offseason, but he could fail with them for a few reasons here. For starters, head coach Todd Monken had hinted at moving Howard from right tackle to the interior line in positional shifting, which could affect his play as a pass-blocking tackle. Howard's play has been affected by frequent position changes during his tenure with the Houston Texans. While he excelled as a starter during the 2025 season by giving up 0 sacks, his run-blocking metrics are historically poor. The Browns have a run-heavy identity that demands a dominant edge setter, which isn't exactly Howard's strong suit. Howard turned 30 in the offseason, which is the typical age where linemen show regression in their play. Not to mention, the Browns have been criticized for giving him an over-the-market extension that also carries a $17.5 million cap hit for the 2026 season. On top of that, the Browns overhauled their offensive line, which will force Howard to adapt to tough situations without the help of returning veterans. So we're just gonna have to wait and see how he does during the regular season.
Succeed Jaylen Naylor. Naylor's poised to have a breakout season with the Las Vegas Raiders due to an immediate path to a starting role, built-in chemistry with Kirk Cousins, whom he played with for 2 seasons with the Vikings, and a highly favorable offensive scheme. Thanks to Cousins being a member of the Vikings during Naylor's first 2 seasons in the league, there's already established chemistry between the two playmakers. The Raiders' receiving room underwent massive changes after the abysmal 2025 season, as no one could top 700 yards when Jacoby Myers was traded to the Jaguars. Trey Tucker led the team with 696 receiving yards in 2025. Naylor has the potential to truly break out with the Raiders, as he's no longer in the shadows of Justin Jefferson or Jordan Addison. On top of all that, Naylor is the perfect fit for head coach Clint Kubiak's and offensive coordinator Andrew Danako's system, which is an aggressive attack mode system that specializes in heavy play action, motion, and deep slot concepts, all of which he excels in. The ultimate cherry on top for Naylor is that he'll play for his home city of Las Vegas and serve as a personal anchor for him. But hey, who do you think's gonna do well on their new team this year? year? Who do you think's gonna fail on their new team this year? Let us know in the comment section below. If you liked this video and learned a thing or two, then clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea, because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.